Hey, this is Christine. I am finally back with the report. I realized this month, because this month was actually just a really trying, stressful month, that it's actually easier to do this monthly than it is weekly. So I actually have a little bit more notes, so this is probably going to be longer than the other ones are. So I'm excited because this is kind of like a little monthly recap now, and I'll rename the playlist for this just so that's clearer. For those who are unaware, and this is your first report from me, we're following like the TikTok structure where it is report, reading, eating, playing, obsessing over, recommending, and treating myself to. And now that we have like a month, I can actually talk about my month at some length. First, we're going to start with reading, and I've actually finished some of the books that I was talking about in the earlier episodes of this. So, A Song to Drown Rivers, I finished it, and I have thoughts about it, and I feel the way about A Song to Drown Rivers that I do about They Both Die at the End, because it was really, really cool. I liked the book, I was vibing, I was going through it, and then the end happened, and it just didn't make sense to me based on what we knew about Zishi and Fan Li. I'm gonna try not to spoil A Song to Drown Rivers, but I know for me the ending really didn't land because it just felt less like an inevitability and more like an oversight on the male main character's part, Fan Li. And we also, I feel like we don't get enough time with Fan Li, where like their romance is as believable as I would like it to be at the end of the book. Also, the king that she was seeing through like most of the plot, he actually like he was willing to risk it all for her. So like I left this book kind of confused, but also I really liked the themes that it was trying to touch upon. So I would recommend this book, especially if you're like a forbidden love kind of girly, which I am. This is going to sound so silly, but there is a book that is essentially a Why Choose parody of VeggieTales. It's called Pounded by Produce. So it's about this girl, Emily, who shows up at like this rural church parish that's run by two pastors, Robert and Laurent, because, Bob and Larry. And thus, like, hijinks ensue, where Bob and Larry, Robert and Laurent, they turn into a tomato and a cucumber, respectively, and then Emily, the chef, does unspeakable things to them, and then from there, they fall in love. So the book tries to touch upon, like, some deconstructionist themes, which is pretty cool, and it's pretty funny with the references. Like the first time you see Laurent, he's asking Bob where his hairbrush is. There is a scene where Laurent and Emily, they have like some personal time alone, and Laurent is wearing a rubber ducky sweater. Like if you are that's kind of like a deep cut if you were into VeggieTales beyond the silly songs of Larry. That's kind of like a deeper cut there. And Bob and Larry's boss is actually Archibald, like the asparagus. And I think he actually gets to be called Archibald in this, which is pretty fun. If you are a Why Choose girly, if you are a VeggieTales girly, I would read this. It's really funny. So I mentioned in an earlier one of these that I'm reading The Deer and the Dragon, and I'm still reading it, but I feel like it's not resonating for me in the same way right now, and it just feels like we're not like it feels like the book is kind of spinning its wheels on the plot. There's like another book that I think that's coming out next month, and I would like to read that if I like this series enough, but I would like to finish this book to decide if I want to continue. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna trust the process. The thing that I was eating this month. So one thing that I've never talked about on here is that I'm actually seeing like one of those like online dietitians that you get for free from your health insurance, which is pretty cool. And as a sidebar, I lost a lot of weight in 2019, and like I want to say like 60 pounds, and I've gained like half of that back over the course of the last like 5 years, but I'm still like under the weight that I was when I started my weight loss journey. So I was telling like my dietitian about that, and it turns out that there actually is like a floor of calories that you're supposed to be eating. And I was well below it. And I also found out that like I always thought I was a person who kind of ate my feelings when I was stressed, but it turns out over the course of the last month, there's just been a lot of like unnecessary stressors. Like I got the flu. There's a lot of like career based stuff that is haunting me at the moment, and I realized that like I don't eat when I'm stressed, which is kind of like I I thought I had all of these like weird habits. It turns out I have different weird bad habits that I have to learn how to break, which is a whole other thing, but that's what being 35 now and in my mid 30s, that's what growing up is. So I'm hoping to kind of get my shit together this year, so to speak. So what I'm playing, because I have a new phone, this is the new phone, by the way. Hello, the phone that almost lost me TikTok. We got TikTok back this month, so if you see me on TikTok, that's why. But because this phone has a lot more memory, I get to play games on it again. And if you were here before I started making content consistently this year again, I was doing a lot of like mobile Let's Plays for mobile games. And now I can do that again because I have the memory on my phone to do it and the ability to save the videos to my phone because I don't have like this crazy memory shortage. So I'm excited to see what's going on in the world of mobile games again, and I might break out Genshin Impact at some point just to see if my phone can run it. I'm not playing Fire Emblem Heroes anymore because the power creep got crazy. I never even picked up my Brave Felix, and if you knew me when I was obsessed with Fire Emblem Heroes, that is like a travesty, the fact that I don't have my Brave Felix. So I don't even know what Brave Felix looks like. I need to look him up. Hopefully I can get a picture of him for this video. So the next thing that I'm playing is my Nico deck. I think I dropped a video last week about breaking down my Elishnorn deck and making a Nico Light of Hope deck. And I got to play it last night at our local game group, like at our local game night. And it didn't win, but it did really well against like some of these really fucked up decks. I also experienced for the first time getting milled out. I've never milled out anybody, but I'm kind of known as mill girly in my local game group because of my horror deck. So I am excited to kind of like sculpt the Nico deck a little bit more and get more things in it to blink things, to knock things back to my hand, because I realized that Nico wants to be flickered, like he wants to be blinked, but I feel like blinkers, they're not as versatile. So there were some times where where people would be trying to attack my Nico and I would bounce it back to my hand and that would protect him, which also could help if somebody's trying to come for me. Then I can bounce an attacking creature back to my hand, which is pretty cool. The other thing that I'm playing, I'm not playing this right now because the game's not out yet, Pokemon ZA. Like yesterday, there was this announcement about Pokemon ZA, and the starters were revealed. And it is Totodile, Chikorita, and Tepig. And as a Chikorita girly, who is also a day one Tepig girly, I am devastated. I have no idea how I'm going to pick between Chikorita and Tepig, because Chikorita deserves the world. Meganium is one of my favorite starters, and Meganium is constantly disrespected, has never gotten anything good ever in the history of Pokemon to ever happen to it, and now it has, and I'm torn because Tepig was my first starter, and Tepig is like one of my favorite starters ever. So I'm torn. I'm torn. How do you choose between your children? You're not supposed to have a favorite. The other things that I'm obsessing over is, I could talk about Grey's Anatomy season 9. I'm on season 9, episode like 18. So like there's, I have to make like another video about that. I'm going to do that very soon. So like but to get to like more pertinent things that's not like an ongoing thing. I realize now that like I'm 35, I think I want to do something different career-wise, especially because I've been making content really consistently for the last year, and it's something that I really enjoy, and maybe on some level I could get paid for it in the future. And that is something that I am looking into pursuing, but I feel like I need a day job that's going to be a little bit less stressful than the one that I have now, just so I can get, you know, just so like I have the mental bandwidth to do the things that I want to do. Like, you know, make videos more consistently on YouTube, make YouTube exclusive content versus TikTok exclusive content. I'm kind of doing that now because these videos don't leave YouTube, and then the season finale Grey's Anatomy reactions don't leave TikTok, so I do have like exclusive content in that way. But I also would like to do more of that, and I really want to pursue this, you know what I mean? And that leads me back to something that I was talking about before, where I need to learn how to set up Twitch. And setting up Twitch is hard. And I have some of the best people in my corner for that, because my husband has his own Twitch channel. I have friends with their own TikTok channels, so they're going to help me. And I am excited to like get that started and see what I can make of it and what I can make of myself this year, which is good, which is pretty cool. The thing that I'm recommending is the Pregmate app. So for those of you who want like a TMI of what's going on in my life, my husband and I want children, and we've been trying for kids, and it's been kind of difficult to nail down things like cycles and vitamins and like fertility foods and things like that, and it's just been a really frustrating process. And I think the batch of ovulation tests that I had were they went bad or something, or they were kind of like a dud. But I also don't think that I could read them. So I ended up getting a different brand that I normally get. It's Pregmate. And then I realized as I was looking at the bag of them that there's an app. So I got the app for Pregmate, and I started like scanning my ovulation tests. But what the app does, I think it makes the results easier to read. And I actually nailed down where I ovulate, which is great. So I cannot recommend the Pregmate app highly enough if you are looking to get pregnant or not looking to get pregnant. I think the thing that I need to find out is if Pregmate reports these results to the government, because I know that's like a thing going on with like the new administration. They want like these apps to track when women have their cycles. I need to look into the news for that more. Hopefully I'm not saying all sorts of nonsense that isn't proven, but I did hear that like through the grapevine, so I want to make sure that this app doesn't do that. But if it doesn't, then I recommend it. If it does, then I need to kind of use it for what I'm using it for, and then delete all my information, you know? So the thing that I'm treating myself to is CapCut Pro. The ability to edit videos for YouTube on the go has been one of the best things that I could have invested into what I do here on social media, which is really, really great. And I have iMovie as well, and that's when I edit on the computer. But CapCut is actually really easy to use on the phone, so I don't mind paying like $20 for it a month. Like I think a lot of content creators who make things with CapCut feel the same way. Like, please don't ban ByteDance. I don't like losing TikTok would suck, but the real loss is CapCut for its ease of access and ease of use and the lower bar of entry than for other video editing apps. So I would say we save CapCut at the very least. The other thing that I'm treating myself to is more shirts from Savannah Rose. Savannah Rose is one of the coolest small designers on TikTok, and she's one of the nicest people. She actually gave me like a little gift card. So this weekend I'm going to spend a little money that I shouldn't spend right now because I'm trying to make big career moves. So I'm trying, even though I'm not trying to spend a lot of money right now, Savannah gave me a gift card, and there's something on her website that I really, really want, so I think I am going to go pick it up. And that's something that I'm treating myself to. I'm also treating myself to, this isn't something that I'm buying, but this is something that is that I'm investing time in. I'm really treating myself to getting things out of my apartment that I need out of my apartment. Like, there's this coffee table in our house that we weren't using, and we just kind of like shoved it into a corner, and we didn't really like do anything with it. And I came home yesterday and I was just like, this thing needs to leave my house. It was really edifying to do that, and I was just like, I felt a coffee table size weight being lifted off of me, and now I'm just like, I want to declutter everything. I want to declutter, but also, still have my aesthetic shit going on, and I think there is like a happy balance with that, and I think I'm going to try and find that this year. That is the monthly report for February. That is February 1st to February 28th. I think this was easier to do, and this was more informative, I think. I have more things to talk about. It's not like I have to like rush through books in order to say that I read them. And I don't need to repeat books to say that I read them because I'm doing this weekly. Doing it monthly, I feel like gives me more time to absorb the month, which is pretty cool. I will see you on this series at the end of March. Have a great day.